And welcome back to Ultimate Soccer one more time, or welcome in if it's your first time. If it's your first time, well, take a note from the people that are in the family already. Hit like and subscribe, join the family, or as I say, pay for your ticket. Now, on this one, it's the pregame. Copa America, Canada taking on Peru. Canada, 48 in the world. Peru, 31. Might tell you that Canada's in for a bit of a tough game, yeah? Now, what are we going to cover? Well, it's pretty simple. It says it on the left there. The game's form, the players, game prediction, and also game talk. Let's kick this off right now. So, Canada fans, this is going to be another tough game. We've got a lot of good things to talk about and things that will make you think as well as we go through this. If you thought we were doing great, maybe we're not. If you thought we were doing terrible, maybe we're not. We'll keep you in this one. So, my friends, talking about the form. Now, form will tell a story, and this does tell a story about which way this game possibly will go. And I've got the notes on the board here ready for you to get into it. So, talking about Peru first, well, they've had an interesting transformation over the last 2 years. Now, 2 years ago, 2023, their form on the whole year was no wins, 2 draws, 4 losses. Absolutely going nowhere, sinking like faster than a bigger rock tied to an even bigger rock, yeah? Going downhill fast. 2024, however, is a different story. 2024, 3 wins, 2 draws, no losses. And you're asking yourself, why? What changed? Well, it's pretty simple. A new coach, December 2023, yeah? Very late, but that's why this thing has turned around. And you've got to say, Jorge Fossati, Uruguayan guy, 71 now, born in Montevideo, Uruguay, and he was a goalkeeper. He played 3 times for the national team back in the day, and now he's coaching it. Incidentally, he's coached 24 clubs, of which 4 have been international teams, of which he's coached Uruguay, Peru, and Qatar twice. So this guy's been around, yeah? He's been all over the globe. He's really done his work on the road. For a Uruguayan fella, he's been away from Uruguay for a very long time. But he is the reason why this team has transformed himself into going nowhere losers to maybe going somewhere pretty quick under Jorge Fossati. And I've got to tell you, the fans cannot believe their luck. But hey, that's why. Let's take a look at Canada. Now, looking at Canada, different scene as we go through. Also got a new coach, Jesse March, since May 13th, 2024. It's not gone so far so bad, but as we go through this, you'll realize that we can do better and we need to get something. I'll tell you about that really shortly. But you got to say, new coach, Jesse March, American midfielder, played for the national team 2 times. He played for the US, so he's played. He's also been an assistant coach for the US as well, way back in the day, 2010, 2011. Now he's a full coach with the Canadian national team. Let's see what he's got. You might not agree with his tactics, being high up the field and leaving the back door exposed. But I do like that 4 across the front when the other team has the ball on their back line. I do like that brick wall in front of the ball players. So it's giving teams something to think about. But Croupeau better be fast off the line, and what a fantastic game. Again, Maxime Croupeau, he's got to be our number 1. Do you think he's our number 1? Is he your number 1? He's my number 1. Is he your number 1? Is he your number 1? Question for you down below. Please answer that one. Is Maxime Croupeau your number 1? But before we move on to the players, rounding off with some of this stats on Canada right now, winless in 4. That's got to make you look. No goals in 3. That's got to change. So going into this one, you have to say, get into the game talk. It's going to be very interesting what you get to hear. Let's move along and talk about the players. When I say the Peruvian players, what I'm talking about is the expected starting lineup. I'm going to give you an idea as what Canada can expect to face from Peru. In goal, Galice. Very, very experienced. And this team, I got to tell you, before going into any numbers, but the word about Peru is experience, okay? They've got lots of it. They've got it in buckets. if not spades. But across the back, probably going to play a back three. Araujo, Zambrano, and Callens in midfield. You got to think it's going to be five across the midfield. Really makes it tough to get through. But when you do get through, you're in. But on the midfield, Polo, Peña, Cartagena, Quispe, and Avincula. Up top, forwards, Lapadula and Flores. That's what I'm seeing for Peru, but don't be fooled. This team can do a lot of damage and is in form. Let's take a look at Canada and what I feel should be or could be the starting lineup for Team Canada. Now, as for Team Canada, I'm really going to give you the starting lineup, but a few things to think about. Some additions. I would change things up because energy. Team Canada needs energy on that field. And I gotta tell you, there's a lot of experienced players that really weren't putting full ball work rate out there. I'm not going to name them. I don't want to embarrass anybody, but we need energy. We need speed. But above all, we need intensity right across the field, not just in defense. We've got that in buckets as well, but we need it up front. Now, looking at the lineup, this is what I'm thinking. And again, I was so happy to see Crepeau in goal. I want to see Crepeau in net. I want him to be the number one keeper moving forward. What do you think? Is he your number one? Is he not your number one? Now, looking at the defense, last game, Alistair Johnson wasn't impressed. Moise Bosito, definitely impressed. Cornelius, again, steady Eddie, mate. And Alphonso Davies, better than the last game, but can improve. Maybe that captain's armband needs to be given to Eustachio. What do you think? In midfield. But by the way, Buchanan didn't really have a great game, and he hasn't had a great game for Canada in a little while. I think he needs to sit on the bench, and I think he needs to bring someone in. Maybe Jason Shuffleberg. Get Shuffleberg on the right side. At least get him in the game, because he'll break through and come on the inside and use the size of the net to hit the net as well. So Shuffleberg, get him in for Tajon Buchanan. Buchanan needs a kick up the arse. He's not putting out. And why is it Inter Milan playing like that? Makes me wonder. Kone in the middle as well, drawing attraction from French Ligue 1 teams right now. Mr. Kone, there's no surprise there. He will end up in Europe. Eustachio is in Europe with FC Porto. In my money, should be the captain. Who's your captain? Down below. Drop it down below. Who is your captain? What's your choice? Is it Alphonso Davies? Is it Steven Eustachio? Is it somebody else? And to finish out, Liam Miller has been outstanding. This guy is growing and growing and growing and growing. The one thing you always get out of Liam Miller is effort. Sometimes the ball doesn't get there. Sometimes the pass is slightly off. But I will play a guy who gives me effort rather than a guy who's a lazy ass and has too much skill. Up top, might surprise you now. Jonathan David, put him in there. But I want to see Theo Bair up front with Jonathan David. I want to see Kyle Larin sit on the bench. Theo Bair, remember that. So there's the starting lineup for Canada. That's the players I'm thinking about. And if you're a Chile fan, that would be the toughest team that you could come across. Just what I'm saying. Now, talking about game talk, this is sticking to the notes, but Peru will use experience, skill, and clever game management. Not cheating. They're going to use everything that they can to get that goal or that win over the line. Nothing's outside the game. Yeah, everything can be taken advantage of, even when the referee's not looking. So it's not cheating and it's not a simulation, but they're so creative and brilliant at game management. It's like a CONCACAF system, but much better. Talk about South American football, man. And I'll tell you, there's less diving in South America nowadays than there is at Euro 2020. The diving at Euro 2020 is ridiculous. Or Euro 2024, I should say. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Anyway, Peru only need one opportunity to win the game, and then they'll seal the back door, and then there's no getting in. So they could walk away with a one-goal win. But remember this, Peru, unbeaten in 6, and only one goal scored against them in the last 5. They will be looking for 3 points. And all the good things that are happening from Peru, everything that's happening for them that's good, is because of Jorge Fossati since December 2023. 60% record as a coach, 60% record as a national team. Canada, look out, because they're in form and we're not. Now, looking at Canada, Canada's going to meet tough opposition in Peru. There's no doubt about it. And Jesse Marsh, I'm asking one question. Is he going to play this risk management football again like he did in the last couple of games? Because I'd like to see the defense a little bit closer to Maxime Croupeau. That ball over the top that caught us out so many times. I tell you, if Argentina had have had their shooting boots on and not their pissing around boots, they would have won that 6 or 7-0. That's how embarrassing it was, the amount of times the ball went over the top or through the defense for people to run onto. A top team really will rip us to pieces with those kind of tactics. We've got to be a bit more pragmatic. But the risk management that we are talking about here is get that ball long. Use a long ball approach. Stop this tic-tac-toe out of defense. Get the ball long. Play through midfield onto the forward line and give that defense something to go left and something to go right and something to think about. Because right now, no goals in 3. We haven't tested anybody and we've given nobody anything to think about in the final third. The point of the matter is we got to have wing play, we got to have speed, and we got to be slick in front of net. We've wasted chances in front of net that probably we should have done better at. So we are failing in front of goal. That needs to be picked up. No wins in 4, no goals in 3. Will they win, or will it be winless in 5 and out of the Copa America after 2 games? I hope not. I really hope not. Talking about Croupeau, though, he was amazing against France. He was amazing against Argentina, but you can't expect them kind of displays or performances every game. If the defense hangs the keeper out to dry, that's what it looks like. That's why Croupeau had to make them saves, because he was hung out to dry by Jesse Marsh's tactics. Maybe they want to be a bit more pragmatic at the back, yeah? And not play it out of the back. Go over the midfield, get it out of midfield, and don't get caught by goals that you shouldn't get caught by. Talking about Croupeau, though, amazing against France, amazing against Argentina, but he can't do that every game, can he? No, he can't. Game prediction. Now, looking at this game, I tell you what, to me, it's a 1-1. It seems and it tastes and it smells like a draw all game long. And that's if Canada and Peru both show up. If it's a case of Peru show up and Canada don't, then it could be a 2-1 win for Peru. I'm thinking the only way that I see a win for Canada is with the 1-0, yeah? But, like I say, on this one, I'd love to see the 1 apiece. I'd even love to see the 1-0 better. But I got to tell you, I really got to worry that Peru may well be coming in for the win. Let's take a look at the groups as they stand right now. So, into Group A, taking a look at Group A. That's how she looks right now. Argentina on top with Peru and Chile in behind with 1. Canada still no point, but everything's still to play for. Let's take a look at Group B. And Group B up in lights. Mexico on top. Got to say, that's fantastic. Venezuela, well, I'll tell you what, that's a surprise over Ecuador, because Ecuador should be on top of this group at the moment with Mexico. But it's not that way, and that's the great thing about round robins. You do get a surprise. That was a surprise. That was an upset. And obviously Jamaica losing 1-0 to Mexico. No upset there, no surprise there, but let's wish Jamaica the best in the next 2 games. Let's look at Group C. And that's what Group C looks like right now. I tell you what, fantastic game. USA taking out Bolivia 2-0, and Pulisic gets the early goal. Oh, what a great start. 3 minutes in, they're already 1-0 up, and it finishes 2-0. Uruguay taking on Panama. Great game. Watch that one as well. Very entertaining. I tell you, I feel so sorry for Panama. They did everything they could. They stayed with Uruguay as much as they could, but it finished 3-1 on the night. Uruguay were 3-0 up, and it was 1-0 early on in, but the last 3 goals came within the last 9 minutes of the game to finish 3-1. But like I say, close to the end, it was 3-0 for Uruguay, but it finished 3-1. Let's take a look at Group D. Taking a look at Group D, Brazil will take on Costa Rica. Colombia will take on Paraguay for the first 2 games in the group. But I expect Brazil and Colombia to go to the quarterfinals. Take a look at my picks right now. So there you go, guys. There are my picks. Maybe we get a little thumbnail lucky here with YouTube. Maybe not. But those are my picks, left and right. What are your picks? Who do you see going through to the quarterfinals? Come on, you must have a thought by now. Who's your team's going through? And who's your final winner? Who do you think's going to take it? Come on. The game is all about the ball. Show some balls. Tell me what you think and have a laugh with this. And remember, I am a sarcastic so-and-so. The next game, by the way, is this one coming up against Chile. And remember, we'll talk the form, we'll talk the players, we'll talk the game talk, and we'll also talk the game prediction. So Chile's up next. Peru is now. And I've got to tell you, this one has got the measurings or the makings of a fantastic game. And that's one guy I really want to see get some time is Schaffelberg. And if not Schaffelberg, maybe Theo Bair gets some time. But for my money, Kyle Larin hasn't really been doing too much recently. And I want to see some intensity. I want to see some wing play. I want to see some speed. I want to see that defensive line drop back closer to their defensive area so that we don't get caught out with balls through. Because I'll tell you now, Argentina ripped us to shreds, but had a bad day in front of net. Peru will have seen those tactics and will do exactly the same and may have a better day in front of net. That's the risk factor. We've got to change the tactics. What do you think? Anyway, that's what I see. That's what I bring you. Let's get ready for the big game. I'm excited for another big game. And after that, like I say, it's Chile coming up. But the point of the matter is, Canada needs to get something out of this game. And if they don't, it's go home after 2, which means the third game against Chile will be for nothing. And we might pull a big surprise because there's nothing on it. You won't have any nerves. But this game is imperative to get at least 1 point to keep us in the tournament. If Peru win, we're done. Simple. Brown bread. Dead. Out of here. Gone. We've got to get something out of this. Will we? I think we've got a good chance. Anyway, drop your comments down below. Get ready for the game. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me who's your 8 going through. Who's your player of the game so far? Who should be captain of Canada? Get ready for the game. I am too. Let's have it. Vamos Chile. Go Canada go. Cheers.